Even just being a single mom, being a young person with kids and going to college and doing everything else. Absolutely. Nobody's going to do it for me, because if that's the case, they're doing it for themselves in some way, shape, or
Hmm.
form.
You you just got your shop, right? Your suite, um, and you also got your car, right?
Yes, I did.
But what I'm saying is like, so like this has been the journey for you. But why I'm saying that is that, like, a lot of people, like, it's just crazy because in the business, people don't understand how many times we end up recreating ourselves, right? And you are the perfect example of, in the hip hop world, they say can't stop, won't stop.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm 100% with that.
And I'm like, yo, you have been like, honestly, I tell you this, and I tell you that you have literally, all jokes aside, you have been my motivation a lot because I remember, God, this is 2 years ago, I think, and we were talking, and you were walking, and I was like, "What are you doing?" You're like, "I'm out here walking, whatever." I was like, "Where you going?" You're like, "I'm going to school. I'm going to
All right.
class." I was like, "What?" You're like, "Yeah, I don't, 'cause," and then you're like, "Yeah, the car, something happened with the car. I can't get a ride right now, but I got class. I got to do this. I got to make these moves." And I was like, "Well, what are you gonna do?" Then I got to go to Salon because I got to do clients, and then after that, I was like, "What are you doing?" Well, someone's gonna pick me up afterwards, and I was like, "Wait, what?" Why I'm saying all that is, you were doing all that and still finding time to just be motivated to make the moves because, like, right now, like you said, now, everybody, well, I guess I'm saying, like, everybody looks at you now, I'm like, oh, of course, Joe got her own suite, now she got a car, she doing, but they don't know what it was like before all that,
No, they don't.
Um, and I guess, my thing is that, I just like you were inspiration for me because you kept going no matter what. And like I said, you was walking, you was hoofing it, what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Um, and you was in school and and at the salon, and you were finding time to. I remember you were doing that Halloween thing as well.
Yeah.
Um, what was like? What keeps you going on it, no matter what's happening? You know.
The- It's, I learned how to love myself. That's probably the better part of it. I
Hmm.
truly, without a doubt, knew that anything I wanted,
Hmm. Hmm.
excuse me, and anything that I wanted to do or needed or whatever it was, I was the person that needed to do it. Nobody else was
Hmm.
going to do it for me. So
Right.
that mindset was what I had throughout the whole time. It was just simply like, Joanna, you want it, you got to go get it, regardless of what it is. And that's been the
Hmm.
consistency throughout, even just being a single mom, being a young person with kids and going to college and doing everything else. Absolutely. Nobody's going to do it for me, because if that's the case, they're doing it for themselves in some way, shape, or
Hmm.
form. It's not that I don't ask for help. I'm learning that now. But
Hmm.
if I ask for help and you can't, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, woe is me. No, absolutely not. Okay, thank you. I asked. You can't say I didn't ask.
Yeah.
And I will
Yeah.
continue to do what I have to do for myself. I'm not thinking that I am a loner. No,
Yeah. You don't feel
absolutely.
like. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to, if I have to ask for help, I ask for help. But I will say this: all you have to say is I can't one time, and I'm gonna be like, well, that's not in my vocabulary. So thank you, though. I
Right. So
appreciate it
that's
that you
that's your
answered
thing.
me.
Right. You're like,
Hmm.
oh, I can't. I got you. Right.
Absolutely.
I'll say this, when it's funny because you and I met, and I appreciate it because at the time, I was writing um, the current series, Carrington Chronicles, that time, and I was stuck on like, oh, it's got to be whatever. And what was dope is that you were able to, like, you had given me some notes. You're like, well, check this out. How about this? Where what's dope on that is that you were one of the first people that really looked at the script and saw the vision even before it was where it was supposed to be. Also, where you saw the characters for where they're being in terms of like, oh, this should be like this, and I was like, oh wow, okay, that, and you're like, you know what, this would be dope if you did that. You know, you, I've listen, worked with a lot of people, different things, but you like wardrobe, hair, and makeup, right? And people be like, oh, okay, cool, right? But the way I look at it as people of color, we have to do all of it, but also be open to all of it, right?
Right.
And so what I was really amazed is that like you were able, and what I think is that like you were able to get in there with the wardrobe, with the hair. I mean, you like, I don't think I don't have to give you at length things. Like I felt like you read it, you understood it, but also that the creative mind on it. And why I'm saying all this, because at the same time, this is when you were hoofing it, right? You were doing all that, you were doing this,
Mm-hmm.
and you also were going through some health stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and I was like, oh, this girl, nothing, you know what I'm saying? Like nothing is stopping this here. As a woman, like you said, single mom, um, you're also a grandmother, which still blows my mind, right?
Mhm.
Uh,
About to
but
be
like,
9.
right, of nine, that's nuts. But like so in our age, right? And we're not gonna say our age, but I know for me, I've had to recreate so many times, right? And for me, I had to recently get over feeling, I don't want to say embarrassed, but a little disillusioned that I had to do it again, right? For a little bit, but I got over it, and I thank you for that, because you know what? Part of it is like, it's like we're all building, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things too is to have people that support you and know, like, you'd be like, so at least I'm not crazy, right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I know. Now, here's the thing. Maybe we are a little bit, but what I mean by that is, people that are real, to be like, you know what, that's not the move. Or that's, maybe not. And what I'm saying, like, you kept it going, like you doing my hair, and now I don't let nobody else touch my hair, except you and then my barber, and that's it. Um, but why I'm saying going on that is that, now when it comes around, right? Like, you have the shop, you have the car, right? So
Mhm.
how, like, let me see something. Like, how does it feel to finally like arrive at some of it? I know that, but like the things that, this is part of the journey, right? But this is definitely a significant road mark. This is a definitely marker, right? And now that you're there, right? Do you feel like, and I know for me, like, it's hard because sometimes we don't step back and say, you know what, let's take a moment and say, that's what's up. Give myself some grace. Um, but like, do you feel like now, like it's like you're gonna turn it up a gear, or you're gonna be like, let me take a breather?
No, absolutely not. I'm not stopping. There's no way. This
Yeah.
is the beginning. To me, it's yes, I got here. Okay, what's the next thing that I have to do? There's no question of whether or not I'm a pause. No, not even.
Yeah. Yeah.
To me, there's no room to stop. Yes, am I gonna make sure that I take a breather? That's different than a pause, because a breather is taking the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and breathe. Okay,
Hmm.
inhale, exhale, keep it moving. A pause to
Yeah.
me is like I have to stop because whatever is life throwing at me, I have to no.
Yeah. No, I
What
got it.
the challenge is now is me staying motivated. It's not
Mm.
somebody else.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
somebody else determining or dictating what I do. Whatever I move forward from now on is me saying, Joanna, you did this. What else can you do? You
Right.
did this. How much further can we go? This isn't the ending. Totally the contrary. And it's funny that you say that, because I was just thinking about it yesterday. I was like, all right, I got the suite.
Hmm.
I got my car. I'm still working. I still
Hmm.
work a 9 to 5 at the school where I graduated from, and
Hmm.
that's phenomenal for me.
That's what's up. Yeah.
So there's always that part of I have to keep going. I still have responsibilities nonetheless. So my responsibility now is wholeheartedly to myself. It's
Hmm.
not how I was before, where I was spreading it to everybody else. I'm like, okay, everybody's grown, everybody's doing their thing. Now it's my
Hmm.
turn to do what I have to do.
Yeah.
So it's funny that you say that. What am I doing now? What's the next step? No, this is just like that first step. The next
Hmm.
thing I want is to start working on my brand and the
Hmm.
things that I want, which is like my makeup palette, my hair products.
Hmm.
Now I have to learn the science of that stuff. So I will teach myself and go into further education on that. So, yes, will my education continue? Absolutely. Especially now because I'm already, this is just a placement. This is my foundation. Yes, it's
Right.
small.
Right.
It's my suite, though. It's me. I'm the one that's working on it, and I can collect all my clients and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
I will not
Mm-hmm.
stop. Now that I have the car, it just broadens my horizon where I can turn around and not only have to work at the shop, now I can take a client for a wedding or a
Mm-hmm.
baby
Mm-hmm.
shower, and I can have no reason, no rhyme or reason to be like, well, I can't do it because I don't have a car. No, my car is also my, I guess, my extension of my salon.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I see it.
Mm-hmm.
With that comes the growth of like, I'm not just settling. Absolutely. And, I can grow, I can move from here, I can move from there and
Right.
do everything else that I
Right.
need to do.
That's
So
crazy. Yeah.
to me,
Yeah.
the just opening up the spot is just letting me know, Joanna, you did this. Let's go. What's next? My next
Right.
is not
Right.
to have, and I've always said this, my thing was never to have a huge salon. That was never me. If I can
Mm-hmm.
have a nice salon, I want to travel more. I
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
expand myself further. I don't want to just stay in the state that I'm at in Massachusetts. No, yes, it's a great starting point, but my
Mm-hmm.
starting point is the extension. Like I said, now I get to travel a little bit more. I still see my regular clients. I still have a clientele. I still build my clientele from here. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's like literally planting the seed and watching like the spring flowers are coming up now. That's me looking at the little
That's
buds and
crazy.
looking at
That's
the
crazy. Yeah.
flowers. And I'm like, that's me all right now at this moment. I'm just growing from the little seed that I planted. And I was like, all right. And but with all that came the factor that, people doubt it.
Yeah.
But don't
Yeah.
ever doubt me. That's one thing you'll learn from me. Don't ever say, I can't. Joanna, you can't do that. Yeah, watch me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm
Nah, I mean,
excel.
yeah.
And I'm excel at it.
You know, so I mean, like that's real because it's sometimes it's hard to ask for help, not because, like the pride thing, right? But then it's
Hmm.
also sometimes is you get so focused, right? You're not sure how to ask or even that you didn't ask. You just keep it going, right?
Right.
Um, excuse me. Someone said the other day, I had a friend of mine tell me the other day, and it was great. She's doing her thing. She has a vlog. She's very successful doing it. And I was talking about, some of the stuff going on, and she was like, you need to activate a team. And I was like, when she was like, no, you need to activate a team. She's like, the problem is you don't know how to, she was like, it's great, it's good, but you don't know how to ask for help. And she's like, you need to activate a team. That's too much to be trying to do something on your own, right? And why I'm saying that is that where you are now, right? And I'll say is I think for you, it is like you're at that point too, where it's like it's okay to be like, I need a team, where I need to have someone that handles this part of things, right? And
Absolutely.
that's hard because we've had to do it by ourselves, right? And when
Uh-huh.
you're so used to that, it's like, I learned, I was like, I gotta, okay, you know what? Let me, and these are things we know, right? We know. But when you've had to push through by yourself, right? Then it's hard when someone's like, oh, because then you're like, well, I don't know. Because right, you don't know. Like one thing I say, and it's no disrespect to anyone, but it's a hard trust factor, right? To know that you're gonna understand what I'm trying to say here, and also to know that that's okay if they don't. You just go back and get at it again. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I
You
see it
know.
like this, and that situation, like even now, just getting my suite, my spot, my car,
Mm-hmm.
working
Mm-hmm.
through, many health issues, many, because it is what it is. Life be life. But even
Right.
starting
Right.
from scratch, when I decided to go back to school, I was
Mm-hmm.
44, went back to school, got my cosmetology license, not without issues. Even then, I felt the pressure of, you need to stop. No, you can't do it. You can't do it. First month
Mm-hmm.
in, I
Mm-hmm.
broke my finger. And I was like, how am I going to do this? I'm enrolled in school. First
Yeah.
off,
Yeah.
like, what am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
was working at the corporate world, doing getting paid lovely and everything else. But I knew the minute that I sat in front of my parking lot of my job, I said, this thing hasn't burned down yet. Jesus. Like,
Right.
why? Then I knew right
Right.
there and then I
Right.
was like, I need to further out what I want. And what I wanted was my schooling for cosmetology and doing feeding. I think that's where people lack it. You have to feed that inner part of you that you're like, this is what I really want to do. This is
Mm-hmm.
really what I want to do. And a lot of people put that to the side, and that's where a lot of problems is. Listen, I went back to school. I broke my finger. I got diagnosed with cancer while I was in school, and I was also a class of COVID. So let's
Oh
throw all
yeah,
that
yeah,
into it.
yeah, yeah,
So with all that being done, I was persevered. We turned around. We were the first ones to get cut at the knees when COVID hit. It was like no
yeah,
barbers,
yeah.
no salons, nothing.
That's
So
right.
now I have a brand new car. I have still rent and bills to pay, not knowing the outlook of life as what it is, but nothing from that turned around and steered me away. I was like, I want to continue doing this. We'll figure out another way. So I also
Right,
started
right.
learning how to do different type of makeup methods, different type of hair
Mm,
stuff, how to help
yeah,
tutorials for feet. So if anything, that did just show me like you're not just stuck at one thing with COVID being around. You have to learn how to do other things. And a lot of people didn't,
yeah, yeah.
even though it was a devastating time in our era, a lot of people didn't take advantage of the things that you can learn on your own.
That's facts.
Like
Yeah, yeah.
I learned how to do a lot more makeup tutorials. I learned how to do more stuff on my computer, learn how to do more vlogging, learn how to do more videos, editing and everything else because that's what your
Hmm.
time is due. And on top of
Right,
that, I
right.
still graduated. I
That's
graduated.
crazy.
I graduated with an award from school
Yeah,
and
I
I
remember.
wasn't
Yeah,
expecting that. And I was
yeah.
but it's that if anything that taught me like don't stop, continue to keep going. You're going to hit a
Right,
hiccup. It's whether or not you look at it, whatever is in front of you, as a pebble or a mountain. To me, everything's a
right,
pebble right now.
right.
Before it was a little bit of a hump, but it wasn't a mountain. It was nothing that was going to tell me, no, Joanna, you can't stop. Not even all the cancer diagnoses and the endless amounts of um infusions, iron and blood transfusions that I had to get. That's not going to stop me. I'm gonna keep going. Thank you. You're just fueling me to keep going and moving forward and to do what I
That's
have
what's
to
up.
do.
That's crazy.
But,
Yeah, I mean, that, and like I said, we don't talk about our age or what have you, but at the same time, you
mhm.
know, they're like, y- and I know it must have passed through, and it does sometimes in your mind, like, damn, how old am I, or what? I know for me sometimes that's like, well, damn, I'm starting out, but you know what though? There's so many people that came out the cut that way, right?
Mhm.
That that like at age such and such, right? They blew up, right?
Yeah.
That's wild to me. And but what I'm saying is the can't stop, won't stop thought of it, right? And I still will say that's a great hip hop thing because you know, and as we just talk about, I know I'm going, but hip hop as the culture, not as rapping the one aspect of it. But I always talk about that because many people that came through that and all the stuff we have addressed and learned was because we, like, for all of us, like, as people of color, we nobody was trying to hear us, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah.
that, and I'm saying, like, that's why, and I want to ask you something. This is interesting. I'm going around it, but what do you think has changed? Because I know too, you backgrounds in music industry,
Yes.
while with fashion, while with all that, and
Mhm.
I feel like a lot has changed. I mean, we know now. I mean, the state that where America's in, it's a whole nother game. I'm not even going to get into that part of it, but just the change in terms of, we come from that golden era, right? Where it was like the hustle was, that was it. It was about the hustle, right? And it was
Mhm.
that, like, we had no choice. It was like, you're gonna hustle, you're gonna do this. But that was right and I'm saying this now, teens, 20s, right? Now it's a different game, but the goal is still the same, right?
Yeah.
And I know in my, like, when I used to look at things, I'm like, everything, technology has rapidly changed. You talk about COVID flipped things that we're not gonna ever be the same. Just as a
No.
country, we're different. We're not gonna ever be in that place where we took a lot of stuff for granted of just freedoms and different things that, and I don't mean freedoms like getting locked up, but like, I never thought, like, for example, going to the barber, I never thought about, like, oh man, what if I can't go? Or what am I going to
Right.
do? Right. Because I can't give myself a fade. I'm not one of them cats, you know? Um,
Right.
and I remember going to the barber shop the first time, after COVID, and it wasn't, like, when I say first time, like the first time, like, everybody was just back in the mix. Right. And there was
Mhm.
this cat that I knew from the neighborhood who came in. This dude looked like the abominable snowman. His beard was out the cut. His fro was crazy. And I didn't even recognize him came in. I was like, what? And then as it came down, he was like laughing because he was playing that trick on people. But the point was, he was like, I took it as a challenge to see what I'm going to do. And also, and what he said was deep, right? He said,
Mhm.
Now I'm cutting it, he said, because I wanted a physical new chapter and to know what I had made it through.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's deep. That's deep. And so, like doing hair, like you said, you got this new car, you got this, you got payments, you got bills. And now your main thing that you do is gone for the and you don't know if it's coming. We didn't know whether it was coming back or how it was coming back, right?
Right.
We didn't know. And so, like you were saying, the shift, so your mindset and how things have changed, like, so did that shift your whole mental in? Now you're like, your goal and what you want to do, has that whole thing shifted now to like a whole another, I won't say it's a different goal, but like it's shaped it differently. And how do you feel that it has?
If
If it
anything,
has.
it showed me with COVID and everything else, it showed me that you are only limited to what you want to limit yourself. Period.
Right.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to just stay stuck on like, oh my God, this is what we're gonna happen, and just
Mm-hmm.
think of everything as a dreaded mess, that's where you're gonna stay. COVID taught me straight up, like, I literally was at the point where I turned around and I said, let's think about it.
Mm-hmm.
If everything was to really go down, let's just think, never mind our careers, our like paying bills and everything else. Let's just think about the base facts of fundamentals.
Mm-hmm.
How are we going to turn around and survive COVID if everything shuts down? Not everybody thought about it. They didn't think about, no electronics, no music, no this, no that, no that. You don't think about all that. Literally, I was like, I'm going to a library and literally read all the books that I need to on how to do the basis of planting something to eat, because we didn't know where life was going.
That's what's up. Yeah.
You have to think about, like, it brought me down. So before I thought about like the madness that it was and everything else, like I thought about that and I'm like, oh my God, like this is a career I'm choosing and everything else. I literally said, you know what? At the end of the day, I have to think about how am I going to feed my kids if everything completely shuts down? Guess what? Joanna's going to a library. There's books. Bring it back to the bare essentials, pen and paper, and turn around and be like, I'm reading this book. I'm going to learn how to plant some stuff so I can eat vegetables, fruit, food, whatever. I'm going to learn how to farm. I'm going to learn what's this and that and the other. To me, anything that has to do with life, one thing is for sure is education. Educate yourself, however big, however small, whatever it is. That was the first thing that COVID taught me in itself with that part. And with my career, I was like, okay, cool. I have to learn how to maneuver. If anything, it taught you how to maneuver stuff, like how to go on with it and how to keep going forward with just life, period, in general. Never mind anything else.
Well, that's as far as like, you say, it made you dynamic. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely, without a doubt. It made me that literal like sit down, your head blows up because you're like, I have to learn certain things. I have to learn how to maneuver my knife. I need to learn. It gives you a concept of what time is. One thing that's unforgiving. Father time is definitely not forgiving when it comes to your age. You either learn it or fail with it because you choose not to learn from the things that you failed from. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So with that being said, I learned a lot of things. I knew that, listen, this ain't going to stop me. If anything, I want to know more. I want to learn more. It activated something different at me as opposed to other people where they were like losing their minds and how to like just function. All I knew is that what I wanted to do was, whether it was now with the music, clothing, or just doing my cosmetology stuff, I knew that I needed to learn how to work with those three or go back to basics. Either way, I'm learning something.
You're doing, something. You like, I'm going to get something.
Something's going to happen. I may not turn around and be touching another hair, but I'm going to learn how to farm.
That's facts. That's funny. See, and apply it, what you know. That's crazy.
You gotta learn it that way. You can't just be like, oh no, I'm gonna stop. Hell no. And like you said, hip hop literally goes into it. I come from a family of musicians, so all I knew was how to sit in a household. We didn't have much of anything, but I knew that we were
Mm,
happy when it came to music, when it came to just
yeah.
learning to that vibration, that part of caring for somebody. That's why I think I gravitated so much to cosmetology, because you're taking care of somebody
Yeah.
from the beginning to the end. You're
That. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
start you start with their, oh, I'm getting ready to give birth. Guess what? I need braids. I don't want to
Mm,
be able to do my hair. Okay, no problem.
yeah.
Or
Yeah.
I want to do my hair for my wedding. I want to do my hair for my graduation. I want to do my hair for my sweet 15, sweet 16. At every point in life, you're going to have a milestone. That's why cosmetology to me was such
Yeah.
a thing that I had to make sure that I finished and
That's what's
continued
up.
on the learning. That's why I did
Yeah.
it. Even like I said, music, and all of it ties together. The business itself, music, cosmetology, the
Yeah.
wardrobe,
You're in the
all of it.
game.
It's all
Yeah.
that. So with that even being like done, once I
Mm-hmm.
got my
Mm-hmm.
suite and I learned that this is mine, I got my car, this is mine. I've set up my kids as well. I went and
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
got my
Yeah. Yeah.
EIN number for the clothing line where my son is going to grow his
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
business from. I turned
Yeah.
around and put something to the side for my daughter to create her nail line. And I
Yeah.
gave it both to them. And I said, this is yours, but
Yeah.
it's still under my name. You make sure that you make me look good the same way I'm making you look good, because my legend is your legacy. Period.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Joe, hold on. I'm gonna call you right back. I gotta stop in here at this
Okay.
school. But so hold on. I'll say hold on. I'll call you back. Hold on.
All right.
Let's fly away, just you and me. I need a little break from the city. It's been so long since we...
Ha ha! Now that's real talk.